For him. You'll have him spoiled to death in spite of me. Whew. I'm hot, aren't you? This is going to be a scorcher.
Oh, I like the job first rate, Nat. Waterbury's a nifty old bird with the lid off once you get to know the ropes. Hey, I rang a joke in one of my stories that tickled the folks there pink. Water wagon, Waterbury, Waterloo. Huh? Darn good. I thought it was pretty fair myself. Yes, you can see life in Waterbury, all right. That is, if you're looking for life in Waterbury.
What's that about Waterbury, Sid?
Oh, I was just saying it's all right in its way, but there's no place like home.
Oh, that boy. Tommy, you mind what your pa told you? You take those crackers out of the back, you hear me? All right.
Ah, fresh kid, he did it on purpose to scare us.
Darn youngster, he'll have the house afire before the day is out.
Don't know what to call him, but he's mighty like a rose milk.
Sid, you crazy.
Oh, you like that one?
Well, I've made him go out back at last. Now we'll have a little peace.
Well, what's on the taffy for everyone today? Sid, you're going to that Sachem Club picnic with me, of course.
Oh, you bet. That is...
I know what that Sachem Club picnic's always meant.
No, not this time, Essie. Sid's a reformed character since he's been on the paper in Waterbury. At least that's what he swore to me last night.
Pure as the driven snow, that's me. They're running me for president of the WCTU.
You're a caution. You turn everything into a joke. But to be careful, do you hear?
Oh, I know he'll be careful today. Won't you, Sid?
Lily, I swear to you, if any man offers me a drink, I'll kill him. That is, if he changes his mind.
Now you're talking to him, Lily. We can only hope for the best.
Now, you women stop picking on Sid. It's the 4th of July, and even a downtrodden newspaper man has a right to enjoy himself when he's on his holiday.
I wasn't thinking only of Sid.
So, how are you spending the festive 4th, Boola Boola?
I can tell you if he won't.
Off to the Rands, I suppose.
I and Bert Turner are taking Elsie and Ethel Rand canoeing. And this evening I'm staying at the Rands for dinner.
What about you, Mid?
I'm going to the beach with Ann Culver.
How about you and Lily, Essie?
Oh, I thought we'd just sit around and rest and talk.
Oh, you can gossip any day. This is the 4th. Now, I've got a better suggestion than that. Now, what do you say to an automobile ride?
Oh,
I'll get out the Buick and we'll drive around town and out to the lighthouse and back. And then Sid and I will drop you off here or anywhere you say, and we'll go on to the picnic.
Oh, I'd love it. Wouldn't you, Lily?
Oh, it would be nice.
Well, then that's all settled.
Lily, you want to come with me to the fireworks display down the beach tonight?
Sid, that's right. You take her out.
Sure.
I'd like it, Sid, thank you. Only not if you come back, you know.
Listen, Uncle Sid, don't let me catch you and Aunt Lily spooning on a bench tonight, or it'll be my duty to call a cop.
Oh, Arthur.
That'll do you. Kicking a football around Yale seems to have blunted your sense of humor.
Where's Richard?
Oh, I'll bet he's off somewhere writing a poem to that silly Muriel McCumber. Or pretending to. I think he just copied
No,
mine.
he's still in the kitchen reading a book. Gosh, he's always reading now. It's not my idea of having a good time on vacation.
That reminds me, Nat. I've been meaning to talk to you about the awful books that Richard's been reading. You've got to give him a good talking to. I found where he hid them on a shelf in his wardrobe. I'll go up and get them right now. You won't believe some of the books that he has been reading.
Seems to me she might have waited until the 4th was over before bringing that up. No, there's nothing to it. Gosh, when I think of the books that I used to sneak off and read when I was a kid.
Oh, me too. I suppose Dick is deep into Nick Carter or Old Cap Collar.
Ah, we passed that period long ago. Poetry's his red meat nowadays, I think. Love poetry. And socialism, too, I think, from some of the dire declarations he's made. Well, we better get him on the carpet. Richard? Richard! Richard!
I'll get him, Pop. Hey, Dick! Wake up! Pop's calling you!
I'm coming. Darn him, he gets his nose in a book, and the house would come down around him, and he never...
You want me, Pop?
Well, I hoped I made that plain. Come and sit down a while.
Sorry, Pop, I didn't hear you. I was off in another world.
Oh, good for you, man. That'll wake him up. Give it to her, Dick.
Now that's enough. No more roughhouse. Richard, you sit down over there, and Mildred, you come sit here. Well, what are you planning to do with yourself today? You going to the beach with Mildred?
That silly skirt party? I should say not.
He's not coming because Muriel isn't. But I'll bet he's got a date with her somewhere.
You shut up, Mid. I thought I'd just stay home, Pop. Well, this morning, anyway.
I helped Tommy set off firecrackers, eh?
I should say not. I don't believe in this silly celebrating the 4th of July. All this lying talk about liberty, when there is no liberty. Land of the free and home of the brave. Home of the slave is what they ought to call it, Pop. The wage slave ground underneath the heel of the capitalist class. Starving, crying for bread for his children, and all he gets is a lousy stone. 4th of July is a stupid farce.
Those are mighty big words. You better not repeat those sentiments outside the bosom of the family, or they'll have you in jail.
And throw away the key.
Let them put me in jail. How about the freedom of speech and the Constitution, then? That must be a farce, too. No, you could celebrate your 4th of July. I'll celebrate the day they bring out the guillotine again and I see Pierpont Morgan being driven by in a tumbril.
Oh, say, you fresh kid, tie that bull outside. You ought to get a punch in the nose talking that way on the 4th.
Son, if I didn't know it was you talking, I'd swear we had Emma Goldman with us.
Never mind, Pa. Wait till we get him down to Yale. We'll take that out of him.
Yale. After all, what is Yale?
You'll find out what.
Richard, I've found that I've always had to listen to at least one stump speech every 4th. I only hope that getting your extra strong one right after breakfast will let me off for the rest of the day. What's that book you're reading, Richard?
Carlyle's French Revolution.
So that's where you drove the tumbril in from and piled poor old Pierpont in it, eh? Well, I'm glad you're reading it, Richard. It's a darn fine book.
What, have you read it?
Well, you see, even a newspaper owner can't get out of reading a book every now and again.
I didn't mean that. Hi, you... Say, isn't this a great book, though? You know that part about Marat and Mirabeau and Robespierre?
Never you mind about Robespierre, young man. You tell me where you've hidden those books this minute. They were on a shelf in your wardrobe, and now you've gone and hidden them somewhere else. You go right up and bring them to your
Never
father.
mind his getting them now. We'll waste the whole morning on those darn books. Well, anyway, he has a right to keep his library to himself. Well, that is, if they're not too, Well, what books are they, Richard?
I'll tell you if he won't. And then you give him a good talking to. 2 of the books were by that Oscar Wilde that they put in jail for heaven knows what wickedness.
Oh, he committed bigamy. What are you laughing at? Well, I guess I should know. A fellow at college told me his father lived in England when this Wilde was pinched. And he said he remembered once his mother asked his father about it, and he told her he committed bigamy.
Well, that must be right then, Arthur.
I wouldn't put it past him, or anything else for that matter. One was a book of poetry. The Ballad of Reading...
The Ballad of Reading Gold. One of the greatest poems ever written, Ma.
And two of the books were by that Bernard Shaw. You know that. He's the one who wrote the play that was so vile they wouldn't even let it play in New York.
I remember.
And then there was a book of plays by that Ibsen there, too. And some poems by Swin, something or other.
Poems and ballads by Swinburne, Ma, the greatest poet since Shelley. He tells the truth about real love, Pop.
Love? Well, all I can say is, after reading here and there, that if he wasn't flung in jail along with Wilde, he should have been. Some of the parts were so indecent, I simply couldn't read them. And then there was Kipling's... Well, I suppose he's not so bad. The last was a poem, a long one. The Rubaiyat... what was it, Richard?
The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. That's the best of all.
Well, I've read that, Essie.
Why, Nat?
Well, yes, I have a copy of it down at the office now. Well, there's some fine things in it, seems to me. True things.
Nat, I never thought you would read...
Essie, I've read it too.
What, Lily?
Say, isn't it wonderful, Aunt Lily? Remember this? A book of verses underneath the bough, a jug of wine, a loaf of bread, and thou beside me singing in the wilderness. Ah, wilderness, we're paradise enough.
Oh, hey, look who's coming around to the front of the house. Old man McCumber.
Dave?
Yup.
Well, what the devil
Oh,
was...
he'll know we're in this early, too. No use lying. Then, let us go up the back stairs and we'll get dressed. Nat, you get rid of him the first second that you can. Whatever can the old fool want?
I'm going to beat it too. Just time to catch the 8:20 trolley.
Oh, I gotta catch that too.
Say, listen, Dick. McCumber may be coming to see whether your intentions towards his daughter are, dishonorable. You better beat it while your shoes are good.
Think I'm scared of him?
I can't imagine what, but it's to complain about something, I know that. I only wish I didn't have to be polite to the old buzzard. Well, about the most valuable advertiser I've got.
Oh, I know, but tell him to go to hell anyway. He needs that ad more than you.
Well, there he is. You better clear out, Dick. But you come right back after he's gone. I'm not through with you yet.
Yes, Pop.
You better clear out too, Sid.
Oh, all right. Come on, Dick, we'll go out and help Tommy celebrate, huh?
Well, hello, Dave. Come right in. What good wind blows you around this glorious form?
Good morning.
Well, sit down, make yourself comfortable. Have a cigar?
You're forgetting I never smoke.
That's so. So I was. Well, I'll smoke alone then.
You asked me what brings me here, so I come to the point at once. I regret to say it's something disagreeable. Disgraceful, if be near to the truth. It concerns your son,
Oh.
Richard.
Come now, Dave. I'm sure Richard.
And I'm positive he has. I have proof of everything, in his own handwriting.
Well, let's get down to brass tacks. Just what is it you're charging?
With being dissolute and blasphemous, with deliberately attempting to corrupt the morals of my young daughter, Miriam.
Well, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to call you a liar.
I
Dave.
thought you'd get around to that. So I brought the proofs with me. My wife discovered them under one of Muriel's bureau drawers, hidden under the underwear. They're all in his handwriting. You can't deny it. Anyway, Muriel confessed to me he wrote them. You read them and then say I'm a liar. Evidently, you've been too busy to take the right care with Richard's bringing up, or what he's allowed to read. Though I can't see why his mother failed in her duty.
Why, you damned old fool. Can't you see that Richard's just a fool kid who's out to rebel against all authority? So he grabs at everything radical to read and wants to pass it on to his elders, boy and girlfriends, to show off what a young hellion he is. Why, at heart, you find Richard is just as innocent a bigger kid as your Muriel is. This stuff doesn't mean anything to me. Hey, if you believe that this could corrupt Muriel, well, you must believe she's easily corrupted. But I'll bet you find she knows a lot more about life than you give her credit for, and can guess that a stork didn't bring her down your chimney.
Now you're insulting my daughter.
I'm not insulting her, I'm giving her credit for ordinary good sense. I'd say the same about my Mildred. It's the same age.
I know nothing about your Mildred, except she's known all over as a flirt. Well, I knew you'd prove obstinate, but I never dreamed you'd have the impudence, after reading those papers, to claim your son was innocent of all wrongdoing.
No? Well, just what did you dream I would do?
Do what's your plain duty to do as a citizen to protect other people's children. Take and give him a hiding he'd remember to the last day of his life.
Dave, I've stood all I could stand of you. Now you get out, and get out quick if you don't want to kick in the rear to help you.
You needn't lose your temper. I'm only demanding you do your duty by your own, as I have already done by mine. I'm punishing Muriel. She's not to be allowed out of the house for a month, and she's to be in bed every night by 8 sharp. And yet she's blameless compared to...
Dave, I said I had enough out of you.
You needn't lay your hands on me. I'm going. But there's one thing more. Here's a letter from Muriel for your son. It makes clear, I think, how she's come to think about him. Now that her eyes have been opened, I hope he heeds what's inside, for his own good and yours. And don't think I'm not going to make you regret the insults you've heaped on me. I'm taking the advertisement for my store out of your paper. And it won't go in again, I tell you, not unless you apologize in writing and promise to punish...
See you in hell first. As for your damned old ad, take it out and go to hell.
That's plain bluff. You know how badly you need it. So do I. Well, good day.
Good for you, Nat. You sure gave him hell.
Much good it'll do. He knows it was all talk.
Oh, I don't know. McCubbard never saw you like this before. I tell you, you scared the pants off of him.
What's that? Something you bought? Samples of the New Freedom from those books Essie found. That Richard's been passing on to Muriel to educate her. That's what started the rumpus. I've got to do something about this anarchist, or he'll be getting himself and me in a peck of trouble.
This is a warm Lulu for fair. Ooh. My life is bitter with thy love. Thine eyes blind me, thy tresses burn me, thy sharp sighs divide my flesh and spirit with soft sound.
Ooh. I missed that one. That must be Mr. Swinburne's copy. I never read him, but I heard there was something like that the matter with him.
Yes, it's labeled Swinburne, Anactoria, whatever that is. Oh. But wait, watch, and listen, Nat, the worst is yet to come. That I could drink thy veins as wine and eat thy breasts like honey. That from face to feet the body were abolished and consumed, and in my flesh thy very flesh entombed.
Helen, hallelujah. Just picture old Dave digesting that for the first time. All right, I wouldn't give to see his face. But this is no joking matter. This stuff is warm. Too damn warm, if you ask me. I don't like this one bit, Sid. Can't help but agree with him. That's not the sort of thing to send to a decent girl. And I thought he was stuck on her. One gets stuck on a decent girl at his age. Oh, moonshine and holding hands, a kiss now and again. But this looks like... Well, I wonder if he's hanging around her to see what he can get. My God, if that's the truth, and he deserves the whipping McCombs says it's my duty to give him. I've got to draw the line somewhere.
Yes, it won't do any good to have him getting a decent girl into trouble.
The only thing I can do is put it up to him straight. Richard will stand to his guns no matter what. I've never known him to lie to me.
Uncle Sid. Well, now's your chance. Look, I'll beat it, and I'll see if the ladies are ready upstairs. We ought to get started soon if we're going to make that picnic, huh?
Gee, Pop, Uncle Sid's a bigger kid than Tommy is. He was taking the firecrackers and throwing them in the air and...
Never mind that. I have something to talk to you about besides firecrackers.
What, Pop?
Come here, son. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want an honest answer. I warn you ahead of time, if the answer is yes, I'm going to punish you. And punish you hard. You will have done something that no boy of mine ought to do. But you've never lied to me before, I know, and I don't believe that even to save yourself punishment, you'd lie to me now, would you?
I won't lie, Pop.
Have you been trying to have something to do with Muriel? Something you shouldn't. Well, you know what I mean.
No! I never would, Pa. What do you think I am? She's not that kind. Pa, I love her. We're gonna get married, Pa. Well, after I get out of college. She said she would, Pa. We're engaged.
Well, that's all I wanted to know. We won't say any more about it.
But, Pa, I don't see how you think I... Did that old idiot McComber say that about me?
Now, you mustn't call your future father-in-law names. It ain't respectful. Besides, you can't blame old Dave when you read through that literature you wished on his innocent daughter.
He found these, did he? Pa, I told him to be careful, Pa. Oh, it'll do him some good to read the truth about life for once and get rid of his old fogey ideas.
No, I can't help but agree with him. That's not fit reading for a young girl. They're all right in their way for you who are a man, but, well, think it over. See if you don't agree with me.
Oh, I only did them because I liked them. And I wanted her to face life as it is. She's so darn afraid of life, Pa. She's afraid of her old man. She's afraid of people saying this and that about her. She's afraid of being in love. She's afraid of everything. She's even afraid to let me kiss her. I thought reading... Well, they're beautiful, aren't they, Pa?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought they'd give her the spunk to lead her own life and not always be thinking about being afraid.
I see. Well, I'm afraid she's still afraid. Here's a letter from her he asked me to give you. You better be prepared for a bit of a blow. But it's all right, son. I mean, there's lots of other fish in the sea. Darn it. I've got to get upstairs and get rigged out, or I never will get to that picnic.
That little coward! I hate her! I'll show her she can't treat me like this!
Well, we're ready to start at last, thank goodness. Let's hope there are no more callers on the way. What did that Macombo want, Richard? Do you know? Sid couldn't tell us.
You can search me. Ask Pa.
Richard, whatever's the matter with you? You sound as though you've lost your last friend. What is it?
I don't feel so well. My stomach's sick.
Oh, you poor boy. And on the fourth trip of old days. What a shame. Oh, maybe I'd better stay with him if he's sick.
Oh, yes, I'll stay too.
No.
Poor boy.
No, you go. I'm not really sick. I just want to be alone. I'll be all right. You go. Darn Tommy and those darn firecrackers. You can't get any peace in this house with that darn kid around. Darn the 4th of July. I wish we still belonged to England.
Dinner tonight. And be careful not to let the pantry door slam behind you. Yes, Mom. Oh, here, let me do that, Essie. Oh, thank you, Lily. But where's Nora? Why didn't she do the last? Girl, she'll be the death of it. She said, I think you honestly wouldn't believe it possible.
Well, is there anything I can do, Essie?
She's got the table all wrong. We'll have to reset it. But I'm always asking you to help. It isn't fair on your vacation.
You know I love to help. Makes me feel I'm some use in this house instead of just sponging.
Sponging? You pay, don't you?
Almost nothing. And you and Nat only take that little to make me feel better about living with you. I don't know how you stand me, having a cranky old maid around all the time.
What nonsense you talk. As if Nat and I weren't only too tickled to death to have you. Lilymella, I've no patience with you when you go on like that. What time is it getting to be?
It's 6:15.
Oh dear, I do hope those menfolk aren't going to be late for dinner. But I suppose that darn Sachem Club picnic, it's more likely than not. I see you've got your new dress on.
Yes. Well, I thought if Sid's taking me to the fireworks tonight, I thought to spruce up a little.
Well, you mustn't mind if Sid comes home feeling a bit gay. I expect that too, and then we'll have to listen to all those old stories about when he was a boy. You know what those picnics are like. He'll be running into all his old friends.
I don't think he will. This time. Not after his promise.
I know. But men are weak. It was a good notion of Nat's getting Sid that job on the Waterbury Standard. All he's ever needed was to get out of the rut that he was in here. He's the type that's been victim of his friends. And he's making good money in Waterbury too. 35 a week. He's in a better position to get married than he ever was.
Well, I hope he finds a woman who's willing. Though after he's through with his betting on horse races and dice and playing Kelly pool, there won't be much left for a wife. Even if there was nothing else he spent his money on,
Oh, he'd give all that up in a minute for the right woman. Lily, why don't you change your mind and marry Sid and reform him? He loves you. He always has.
never enough to stop drinking for. No, it's no good in your talking, as we've been over this 1,000 times before. And I'll always feel the same, as long as Sid's the same. If he gave me proof, But even then, I don't believe I could. It's 16 years since I broke off our engagement. But what made me break it off is as clear to me now as it was then. His taking up with bad women.
But he's always sworn he was raped into that party, and he never had anything to do with those harlots.
Well, I don't believe him. Didn't then and don't now. Oh, I don't believe he deliberately planned to, but it's no good talking, Essie. What's done is done. Oh, but you know how much I like Sid, in spite of everything. I know he was just born to be what he is, irresponsible. But don't talk to me about marrying him, because I never could.
He's a dumb fool. A stupid dumb fool, that's what he is. And it's a shame for you. A measly shame.
Oh, now don't you go feeling sorry for me.
Oh, good gracious, if I'm not forgetting one of the most important things. I've got to find Tommy and warn him not to give me away to Nat about that fish. I sent him to the market for it so he knows, and he's liable to burst out laughing.
About what?
Oh, I've never told you. But do you know how Nat always carries on about not being able to eat bluefish?
I know he says it poisons him.
Oh, poisons him nothing. He's been eating it for years. Only each time I tell him it's weak fish. We're having it tonight.
Aren't you ashamed, Essie?
Well, not much, I'm not. I like bluefish. Oh, where's Tommy? In his own parlor?
I know, Richard's there alone. I think Tommy's out on the piazza with Mildred. Feel any better, Richard?
Oh, I'm all right, Aunt Lily. Mustn't worry about me.
But I do worry about you. I hate to see you so upset.
Doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
You really mustn't let yourself take it so hard. You know, things like that come up, and we think there's no hope.
Things like what come up?
What's happened between you and Muriel?
Her? I wasn't even thinking of her. I was thinking about life.
But then if we really, really love, well, then something else is bound to happen soon that changes everything again. And it's all as it was before the misunderstanding. And everything works out all right in the end. That's the way it is with life.
Life? Life is a joke, Aunt Lily. Everything turns out all wrong in the end.
You mustn't talk that way. Oh, but I know you don't mean
I
it.
do too mean it. You can have your silly little optimism, Aunt Lily, but don't ask me to be so blind. I'm a pessimist. And as for Muriel, well, that's all dead and past. I was only kidding her anyway, just to have a little fun, and she took it seriously like a fool. You know what they say about women in trolley cars, Aunt Lily? There's always another one along in a minute.
I don't like you when you say such horrible, cynical things. It isn't nice.
Nice. That's all you women ever think about, Aunt Lily, is nice. I'm proud to be a cynic. It's the only thing you can be when you really face life. Suppose you think I should be all heartbroken over Muriel. Little coward who's afraid to say her soul's her own, keeps tied to her father's apron strings. Well, not for mine. There's lots of other fish in the sea.
Oh, hello, Richard. You here? Getting hungry, I suppose.
I'm not hungry a bit, Ma. It's all you ever think about is food.
I've never noticed you to hang back at mealtimes. What's that you were saying about fish in the sea?
He says he's through with Muriel now.
Oh, she's through with him, he means. The idea. Sending a nice girl like her things out of those indecent books. Well, there's nothing to be done until those men get home. We might as well go in the front parlor and be comfortable.
Yes, we might as well.
Food! Out then, out into the night with me. They do not know the secret of the poet's heart.
Leave them olives alone, or the missus will be swearing it was me asked up.
I wasn't eating.
Oh, no, of course not, devil Ophelia. You were just feeling their pulse. Mind what I say now, or I'll have to tell on you to protect me good name.
Hey, Dick. Quiet, kid. I don't want the folks to know I'm here. Tell Art I need to see him a second. On the QT.
Well, I can't. Art's up at the ranch. Won't be home before 10 anyway.
Damn, I thought he'd be here for dinner. Well, that really balls things up for fair.
What is it, Wink? Can't I help?
Well, I might tell you, if you can keep your face shut.
Well, I can.
Well, I ran into a couple of swift babies from New Haven this after, and I dated them up for tonight, thinking I could catch Art, but now it's too late to get anyone else, and I'll have to pass it up. I'm nearly broke, and I can't afford to blow them both to drinks.
Well, say, I got $11 saved up. I could loan you some.
Say, you're a good sport. But Nick's kid, I don't want to borrow your money. But, say, have you got anything going for tonight?
No.
You want to come along with me? I mean, I'm not trying to lead you astray, understand? But it would be a help if you could just sit around with Belle and feed her a few drinks while I'm off with Edith. See what I mean? I mean, you wouldn't have to do anything, not even take a glass of beer, unless you want to.
Oh, what do you think I am, a rube?
So you game for anything that's doing?
Oh, sure I am.
You ever been out with any girls? I mean, real swift ones that there's something doing with, not these dead Janes around here.
Well, what do you think? Sure I have.
Ever drink anything besides sodas?
Yeah. I've had beer, and slow gin fizzes, and Manhattans.
Well, hell, you know more than I thought. Hey, but can you fix it so you folks won't get wise? You can get back by 10:30 or 11, all right? You think you can cook up some lie to cover that? I mean, it ought to be easy. On the phone.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Hey, but you've got to keep your face closed about this, you hear? I tell you straight. I wouldn't ask you if I wasn't in a hole, and if I didn't know you were coming to Yale next year, and if I didn't think you were giving me the straight goods about having been around before. I don't want to lead you astray.
I told you that was silly.
Okay, well, you'll be at the Pleasant Beach House, 9:30 then. Come in the back room, and don't forget to grab some clothes to keep the booze off your breath.
Yeah, I know what to do.
Okay, so, see you later then?
So long.
Okay. Oh, and, say, I'll say you're a Harvard freshman and you back me up. I mean, they don't know a damn thing about Harvard, and I don't want them thinking I'm traveling with any high school kid.
Yeah, that'll be easy. We'll fool them.
Okay, so long then. You better beat it right after your dinner while you got a chance, and, watch your step, kid.
March, march on down the
I'll show her she can't treat me the way she's done. I'll show them all.
Where's Mom?
In the front parlor. What do you think, bonehead?
Pa and Uncle Sid are coming. Lena and I saw them from the front piazza. They're coming around back. Gee, I'm glad. I'm awful hungry, ain't you? Mom, they're coming. Let's have dinner quick. Gee, I'm awful hungry, Mom.
I know, you always are. You've got a tapeworm, that's what I think.
Have we got lobsters, Mom?
Yes.
Gee, I love lobsters.
We've got lobsters. And fish. Now remember when I told you about the fish, Tommy. Oh, do be quiet, Tommy.
Started the interrogation.
Millie, I'm afraid I might have known.
Uncle Sid.
Never mind. You shouldn't notice such things at your age.
Lena whispered me. Think I don't know? Uncle Sid soused again.
You be quiet. Did I ever? You're getting too smart. You sit down here. Not another word out of you.
Oh, Mom.
Richard, you take your place at table. Mildred, sit down. Lily, you better sit down too. We'll get him in here. We'll get some food into him. He'll be all right then.
My wild Irish soul.
Nora! You come right in here. Don't stop to wash up or anything. Dinner's coming right on the table.
All right, Essie, we're here. Here we are. Here we are.
Poor Nat, poor Nat.
Nora, you can bring the soup in now.
Here we are, Essie. Right on the dot. Here we are.
Oh, don't you crazy. So I see you're here. And if I didn't, haven't you told me 4 times already?
Oh, don't be critical, Essie. Don't be carvingly critical. Good news can stand repeating, can it? Why, sure it can.
Aren't you ashamed?
Oh, I couldn't resist it. Simply couldn't resist it.
Nora, bring the soup here this minute.
Yes, Mom.
Well, hello, Nora.
Yes. Oh, no, don't be making me laugh and getting me into trouble.
Nora!
Oh, yes, Mom. Here I
Nora, how many times do I... Tommy, stop spinning your napkin ring. How many times do I have to tell you? Mildred, sit up straight. You don't want to grow up to be a humpback. Richard, elbows off the table.
Well, 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 well. It's good to be home again.
Oh, now, I do wish you wouldn't encourage that stupid girl by talking to her when I'm trying to train.
All right, Essie, your word is law. Oh, we did have fun today. And Sid was the life of that picnic. You should have heard him.
Sid, you come right in here. Nat, sit down for goodness sakes. Well, go ahead, everybody. Start your soup. Don't wait for me.
Essie.
No one's given up soup.
Sid's a bit embarrassed about coming in. I mean, well, he's got himself a little bit, not too much, mind you, but, well, he met such a lot of friends, and you know how it is. Don't pretend to know, okay? And don't do kids either. Oh, don't you, Lily. He's scared of you.
Very well, Nat.
All right, Sid, coast is clear. Oh, good soup, Essie, good soup. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, beautiful evening. Well, I never remember seeing a more beautiful sunset. Oh, deeply sorry, Lily. Deeply sorry.
All right.
Well, what do we have here tonight, eh? Soup?
Yes, of course it's soup. What did you think it was? You better hurry up and eat yours.
Well, all right then. Soup be it. Spoon, is this any way to treat a pal? Oh, down with spoons. We'll drink to the dead already and hurrah for the next guys. Your good health, ladies and gents. What are you rebuking me before all assembled? Isn't soup liquid? Aren't liquids drunk? What if they are drunk? It's a good man's failing. Am I right or wrong, Tommy?
Yes, well, you better drink yours and stop talking nonsense.
Oh, no, Essie. If I ever so far forget myself as to drink a leg of lamb, well, then, you might have an excuse. Think of all the wasted effort eating soup with spoons. 50 grueling lifts per plate. Billions of soup eaters on the globe. Why, it's positively staggering. Am I right, Nat? Poor old Nat. Always wrong. And drunk again, I regret to know. Sister, my heart bleeds for you and your poor fatherless chicks.
Shut up for a minute. Quiet, everybody. Pass me your soup plates. If we wait for that girl to come in, we'll be here all night.
Hey, Tommy, I ate soup with a fork. Oh-ho! Sight for sore eyes, me beautiful Makushla.
Sid.
Ah, sure, Mr. Sid. It's you that have kissed the blinding stone when you were dropped in.
Ah, my star-eyed bugweed.
Sit down.
Sit down and stop making a fool of yourself.
Oh, Miss Lily, don't mind him. He's only under the influence. Well, there's no harm.
Nora.
This isn't by any chance bluefish, is it, dear?
Oh, no, of course not. It's weak fish. You know, we never have good fish on account that you're having like,
Yes, I regret to say there's a peculiar oil in bluefish that invariably poisons me. I don't know what's so funny about my being poisoned.
Aha, Nat. I suspect a plot. Oh, this fish looks blue to me. Oh, very blue indeed. Could it be that this woman, who looks as guilty as Lucretia Borgia, has been poisoning you all these years? And how well you've stood it.
Give us a rest, you darn fool. A joke's a joke. Is this true, Essie?
no. But you never have suspected it. It hadn't been for that darn tonic and Sid poking his nose in. Oh, you've been eating bluefish for years and thrived on it. It's all a lot of nonsense about that peculiar oil.
Now let me know my own constitution. Come to think of it, I felt upset every damn time we've had fish. I can't eat this.
Well, then don't. There's lobster coming. You can fill up on that.
You seem in a merry mood, Richard. I thought you were the original of the Heart Bow Down today.
Oh, never mind them, Dick. Let them scoff. What do they know about girls whose hair shizzles, whose lips are fireworks, whose eyes are sparks?
You shut up, man. Think I care about her? I'll show you all how much I care.
All right, everyone. Pass me your plate when you've finished. There's lobster coming. And that's all. No dessert or tea after lobster, you know.
Gee, I love lobsters.
You have a good time at the beach today, Mildred?
Oh, fine, Pa, thanks. The water was wonderful and warm.
Did you swim far?
Yes, for me, but that isn't so awfully far.
Well, you ought to be a good swimmer if you take after me. Why, I was a regular water rat when I was a boy. You know, I'll have to go down to that beach with you someday. Although I'll probably be rusty, not having been in all these years. You know, speaking of swimming, I never go down to that beach, but when it calls to mind, say, Red Sisk and I went swimming, and I saved his life.
Oh, no.
What's that?
Oh, nothing. Go on swimming. Don't mind me.
Well, Red Sisk and I went swimming that day. Red, his father owned a blacksmith shop down where the Union Market is now. We kids called him Red because he had the darndest, reddest crop of hair. Well, as I was saying, we went swimming that day. Let me see. Must have been, well, Red was 14. He was bigger and older than me. I was 12. 45 years ago. But there wasn't a single house down there then. But there was a stake out where the whistling boy is now, about a mile out.
1.5 more out of you, young man, and you'll leave the table.
Nat, eat your lobster. You didn't have any fish, you know.
Well, if I'm going to be interrupted every second anyway, as I was saying, there was Iron Red, and he dared me to race him out to that stake and back. Well, I never let anybody dare me in those days. I was a spunky kid. So I said, all right, and we started out. We swam and swam. We were pretty evenly matched, though, as I said, he was older and bigger than me. But finally I drew ahead. I was going along easy, lots in reserve, plenty of energy, when suddenly from behind me I heard a sort of a gasp, like this. Help! I turned. There was Red, his face all pinched and white, and he says meekly, help me, Nat, I've got a cramp in my leg. Well, I don't mind telling you, I got mighty scared. And then I thought of that pile. If I could pull him to that, I could hold him there until someone noticed us. But that pile was, well, I calculated, it must have been 200 feet away.
250.
What's that?
I've taken down the distance every time you've saved Red's life for 30 years. And the mean average to that pile is 250. Well, why didn't you let old Red drown anyway, Nat? I never knew him, but I know I wouldn't have liked him.
I suppose you're right, Sid. I suppose I've told that many times and bored everyone. But you know, it's a good true story for kids because it illustrates the danger of being foolhardy in the water.
Well, of course, it's a good story. And you tell it any time you come on. And see, if you were in any responsible state, I'd give you a good piece of my mind for teasing that.
I must be getting old, Mother. Getting to repeat myself. Someone ought to stop me.
No such thing. Now, you're as young as ever you were to hear you tell it. You eat your lobster. Maybe it'll keep your mouth shut.
Lobster? Did you know, Tommy, your Uncle Sid's the man who invented lobster? It's a fact. One day, took a day off and just dashed off lobster. Oh, he was bigger and older than me, and he had the darndest crop of red hair, but I dashed him off just the same. Am I right, Nat?
You better be quiet.
Mom, lobster! You need that lobster! Shut it off!
Oh, Sid, you hit yourself. Put that down.
Why, I prefer the shells. All famous epicures prefer the shells. It's the same with clams. Unless I eat the shells, there's a certain peculiar oil in them very
We're having a good time making fun of me. Yeah, well, go ahead, I don't mind.
He better go to bed. That's what he better do.
Oh, bed? Yes, maybe you're right. I am not at all well. I'm in a very delicate condition. We're praying for a boy! Immediately, if not sooner. Wait. There is one duty yet left to perform. No day is complete without. Lily? Answer once and for all. Will you marry me?
No, I won't. Never.
Right? Well, perhaps it's for the best. For who can forget the precepts taught me at me mother's dying knee? Sidney, she said, Sidney, my boy, never marry a woman who drinks. Lips that touch liquor shall never touch yours.
Leave Lily alone and go to bed.
Right. Good night, ladies and gents. We shall see you by and by. By and by. Come and be saved, brothers! Boom, 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 in the sweet boom, boom, by and by, boom, boom. We shall meet on that beautiful shore, boom, boom. Work and pray, boom, boom. While we may, boom, boom. We shall meet in the sky, by and by, boom, boom.
You have to laugh at him, even when he's poking fun at you.
He is a caution. Oh, my insides ache, I declare. But I suppose we shouldn't. It only encourages him. My lad, when he started
Stop it! You shouldn't. Even I laughed. It does encourage. It's been his downfall. Everyone always laughing. Everyone always saying, what a card he is. What a case. What a caution. So funny. And he's gone on and we're all responsible, making it easy for him. All we do is laugh.
Oh, Lily, you mustn't take on so. It's not as serious as that.
Maybe it is to me. Or was once. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nancy. I didn't mean to. I'm not feeling myself tonight. If you'll excuse me, I think I'll go into the front parlor and lie down on the sofa for a while.
Of course, Lily, you do whatever you've the notion to.
I suppose she's right. Although I don't remember Lily ever coming out with things that way before. Anything special happen, Essie?
Nothing I know. Except he promised to take her to the fire.
That's so. Well, suppose he might take her. I don't want her to be disappointed.
Wild horses couldn't drag her now.
I thought she'd gotten over that foolishness for him years ago.
She never will.
She better. He got fired out of that Waterbury job.
Oh,
Told me about it at the picnic when he had enough Dutch courage in him.
isn't he the fool?
I knew there was something wrong when he came back home again. Well, I'll find a place for him on my paper again, of course. He always was the best news getter this town ever had, though you can't always print what he's brought in. But I'll tell him, he's got to stop his damn foolishness. I'll tell him. Well, there's no use sitting here mourning over spilled milk. Why don't you kids go outside and try to keep quiet so your Uncle Sid can get to sleep and your Aunt Lily can rest?
Ain't we gonna set up the skyrockets and Roman candles pop?
Later, son, later. It's not dark enough for them yet.
Come on, Tommy. I'll see he keeps quiet top.
There's a good girl. Well, melancholy Dane, what are you doing?
Going out. You know what I think? It's Aunt Lily's fault Uncle Sid's going to ruin her. Because he loves her and she just keeps him dangling after her and eggs him on and ruins his life. Like all women love to ruin men's lives. I don't blame him for drinking himself to death. What does he care if he dies after the way she's treated him? I'd do the same thing if I was in his boots.
Richard, you stop that talk.
Drink for you know not whence you come, nor why. Drink for you know not why you go, nor where.
You listen to me, young man. I've heard all about all I can stand for one day from you. Seem to be getting too big for your size. Now you keep that damn fool talk to yourself, you hear? Or you're going to regret it. Mind now.
Richard, I'm ashamed of you. That's what I am.
What the hell do I care? I'll show them how much I care. I'll show them all! I like it better when it's flat.
Say, George, is Bedelia the latest stick in this hick nerd? Well, it's only a couple of years old. You'll catch up in time. Why don't you get a new role for that old box out front?
Complain to the boss, not me. You know, we're not used to having candy kiddos like you around. Or maybe we get up to date.
Don't kid me, please. I can't bear it. Oh, Bedelia, Delia, Elia, made up my mind to feel ya, Bedelia, Delia. Ever hear those words to it, kid?
Sure, lots of times. That's old.
Then why don't you act as if you knew what they were all about?
Sure, I've heard that old parody lots of times. Well, what do you think I am?
I don't know, kid. Honest to God, you got me guessing.
He's a hot sport, can't you tell it? I've never seen such a spender. I mean, my head's dizzy bringing you in drinks.
Don't let him kid ya. You show him. Loosen up and buy another drink, what say?
Yeah, sure. Excuse me, I was thinking of something else. Have anything you like. See what the lady will have and have one on me yourself.
Now that's talking. Didn't I say you were a sport? I'll take a cigar on you. What's yours, kiddo, the same?
Yes, and forget the house rules this time, and remember, a Ricky is supposed to have gin in it.
Oh, try it. Seeing it's you. What's yours, another beer?
Oh, a small one. I'm not thirsty.
Say honest, are things that slow up at Harvard? Filling up on beer will only make you sleepy. Have a man's drink.
Okay, I was going to. Bring me a slow gin fizz.
And make it a real one.
I get you. Something that'll warm him up, eh?
Christ, what a dump. And this isn't the deadest burg I ever struck. I bet they take the sidewalks in after 9 o'clock. Say honestly, kid, does your mother know you're out?
Cut that out, trying to kid me.
All right. I didn't mean to, dearie. Please don't get sore at me.
I'm not sore.
You see, it's this way with me. I think you're one of the sweetest kids I've ever met. And I could like you such a lot if you'd give me half a chance instead of sitting so cold and indifferent.
I'm not cold and indifferent. I just got a weight on my mind.
Well, get it off your mind.
Warm them up for you. 40 cents. That is with the cigar.
Keep the change.
Thank you very much, sir.
Don't mention it.
Hope you like the drink. I took special pains with it.
Hey, anybody here?
Yeah, I'm coming.
You shouldn't be so generous, dearie. Get them in bad habits. A dime would have been plenty.
Oh, that's all right. I'm no tightwad.
That's the talk I like to hear. Keep an eye out for that bartender kid and tell me if you see him coming. Girls are only allowed to smoke upstairs in the rooms, he said.
All right, I'll watch.
Have a sweet. You smoke, don't you?
Oh, sure I do. I've been smoking the last 2 years on the sly. But next year I'll be allowed. Well, that's pipes and cigars. Say you won't inhale like that. Smoking's awful bad for girls, even if you don't.
Afraid it will stunt my growth? Gee, kid, you are a scream. You'll grow up to be a minister yet. Well, here's how. Bottoms up now. Show me you really know how to drink. There. That's, something like. Feel better?
You bet.
You'll feel still better in a minute, and then maybe you won't be so distant and unfriendly, eh?
I'm not distant and unfriendly.
Yes, you are. I think you just don't like me.
I do too like you.
How much? A lot?
Yeah, a lot.
Well, show me how much. You want me to come sit on your lap?
Yes.
Well, why don't you put your arm around me? No, not that dead way. Hold me tight. You needn't be afraid of hurting me. I like to be held tight, don't you?
Sure I do.
especially when it's by a nice, handsome kid like you. Gee, you've got pretty hair, do you know it? Honest, I'm awfully strong for you. Why can't you be about me? I'm not so awfully ugly, am I?
No, you're pretty.
You don't say it as if you meant it.
You do mean it, honest.
Then why don't you kiss me? Call that kissing here. What's the matter, honey boy? Haven't you ever kissed like that before?
Sure I have.
Then why did you jump as if I'd bitten you? Gee, I'm getting just crazy about you. What shall we do about it, eh? Tell me.
I don't know. I'm crazy about you too.
Just think of the wonderful time Edith and your friend Gwent are having upstairs while we sit down here like two dead ones. A room only costs $2. Come on, go out and tell the bartender you want a room.
I can't.
What's the matter? You're too bashful to ask for a room. Let me do it.
No. I don't want you to. I don't want to.
You are the lousiest cheapskate.
I'm not a cheapskate.
Keep me around here all night fooling with you when I might be out with some real live one if there is such a thing in this burg. And now you quit on me? Don't be such a piker. You got $5. I seen it when you paid for the drink, so don't hand me any lies.
Who said I had it? And I'm not a piker. Listen, if you need the $5 so bad, you can have it without... I mean, I'd be glad to give it to you.
Thanks, kid. Gee, thanks. Forgive me for losing my temper and bawling you out, will ya? You're a regular peach. You're the nicest kid I've ever met.
Oh, it's nothing. Only too glad.
Come on, let's have another drink, and this time I'll blow you to drinks just to show my appreciation. Hey, George, bring us another round, the same.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh, another won't hurt you, and this one's on me, see?
I like you a lot. And, well, now I'm getting to know you. Gosh, you're a darn nice girl.
Nice is good. Tell me another. Well, if I'm so nice, why didn't you want to take me upstairs? That's what I don't get.
Oh, I did want to. Only I've sworn off.
Is your pleasure? Oh, we're coming on, I see.
Here, this is mine. Here's how. And thanks again.
Yeah. Bottoms up. Bottoms up. Gee, that's good stuff.
What'd you mean a minute ago when you said you'd sworn off?
Took an oath I'd be faithful.
Until death do us part, eh? Who's the girl?
Never mind.
Oh, I'm not good enough to talk about her, I suppose.
No, you're all right. Only you need this kind of life. It isn't right. A nice girl like you, why don't you reform?
Nix on that line of talk, can it, you hear? You can do a lot with me for $5, but you can't reform me, see?
Didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
I know you didn't mean. You're only like a lot of people that mean well to hear them tell it. So you're faithful to your one love, eh? And how about her? Bet you she's out with a guy under some bush this minute, giving him all he wants.
Don't you say that, don't you dare!
All right, have it your own way and be a sucker. It cuts no ice with me.
You don't know her!
I don't want to. Shut up about her, can't you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hope I'm not butting in on your party, but my dogs are giving out standing at that bar.
It's all right with me. I got no party on.
Yeah, that sounds hopeful.
But I wouldn't do such, because I loved her too much. And I learned about women from her. Let's have another drink.
You've had enough?
What is it, a child poet or a child actor?
Don't know, got me guessing.
Well, if you could shake the cradle robbing act, maybe we could do a little business?
That's easy, I just pull my freight. Listen, kid, this here's an old friend of mine, Mr. Smith of New Haven. Just come in. I'm going over sit at his table for a while, see? And you better go home.
I'm never going home. I'll show them.
All right. Have it your own way, only let me up.
Fine, go on. What do I care what you do?
Well, what kind of beer will you have, sister?
Mine's a gin, Ricky.
You got extravagant tastes, I'm sorry to see.
Yet each man kills the thing he loves. By this let each be heard.
Hey, this is rich. That's swell dope, young fella. Give us some more.
Some do it with a bitter look, some with a flattering word. The coward does it with a kiss, the brave man with a sword. I did it with a kiss. I'm a coward.
It's the old stuff, kid. You got something on the ball, all right. Now give us another, right over the old pan now.
Oh, they cried.
Get the hook!
The world is wide, but fettered limbs go lame. And once, twice, throw the dice. It is a gentlemanly game. But he does not win who plays with sin in this secret house of shame.
Can it? Give us a rest from that bunk.
His gal ears don't appreciate poetry. She's a lowbrow, but I'm the kid that eats it up. My middle name is Kelly in Sheets. Now give us some more of the same.
He's copped a fine skinful, and gee, he's hardly had anything.
Say, I don't think you ever knew this lady New Haven at all. You just picked her up now. Will you leave her alone, you hear? You won't touch her, not while I'm here to protect her.
God, listen to it.
Wait, this is a scream.
Curse you, Jack Dalton. If I won't unhand her, what then?
Well, I'll give you a good punch in the snoot, that's what. Cut the noise.
What the hell's up with you?
He's gonna murder me.
He's too damn fresh.
Hey, George, it's none of my business, brother, but if I were in your boots, I'd give this young souse the gate. He's underage, any fool can see that.
Yeah, well, he told me he was over 18.
Yeah, and I tell you, I'm Teddy Roosevelt, but you don't have to believe me. You're not looking for trouble. I advise you get him started for some other chin mill and let them do the lying if anything comes up.
All right, come on your feet. Come on now. You'll start no trouble in here. Beat it. Now.
I will not beat it.
Oh, you won't, will you?
Give him the bottles, Raj. I'm sick of his bull.
Oh, you would, might you?
Let go of me, you dirty coward.
Quiet, you were up in a Marianne your jaws.
Hand it to me, kid. How's that for a slick way to get rid of him?
Poor kid. I hope he makes it home all right. I liked him before he got soused.
Who is he?
The boy who's upstairs with my friend told me, but I didn't pay much attention. Name's Miller. His old man runs a paper in this one-horse burg, I think he said.
Must be Nat Miller's kid, then.
He's on his way with a good boot and a tail to help him.
Yes, well, maybe that boot will cost you a job, brother. No, Nat Miller, who runs the Globe, that's his kid.
The hell it is. Who said so?
His baby doll. Say, I'll go keep cases on him. See that he gets on the trolley all right anyway. Nat Miller's a good scout.
Damn the luck if he ever finds out I served this kid, he'll run me out of town. But why didn't you put me wise, you lousy tramp, you?
Hey, I don't stand for that kind of talk. Not for no hick-beer squirter like you, see.
Don't do you? Well, who was it but you who told me they had a dynamite in that base? Now beat it, you, and beat it quick. Or I'll call Sullivan from the corner. Have him run you for street walking. Now get the hell out of here, no long waits.
I'll fix you for this, you thick neck! If I ever go to jail for it!
It's only a bull. Them lousy tramps is always getting this dump in Dutch.
What
goodness, if my mother ever...
Well, don't you think it's nice then?
Yes, Mildred, very nice indeed.
Absent-minded. I don't believe you even saw it.
I do wish that Richard would get home.
Now, Essie, don't worry. He'll be in any minute now.
But I do worry. What time is it now, Nat?
I'm going to buy a clock for in here. You have me looking at my watch every couple of minutes. Oh, it's a little past 10.
You said it was that over an hour ago. Nat Miller, you're fibbing to me so as not to worry me. You let me see that watch.
It's 11:15. But that's not so late when you remember it's the 4th of July.
If you don't stop talking, 4th of July...
Look, Pa.
Let me see. Why, you seem to be inventing a new signature each week lately. What are you in training for, writing checks? You must be planning to catch a rich husband.
No wedding bells for me. But how do you like it, Pa?
Overpowering. No other word for it. Overpowering. Why, you could put this on the Declaration of Independence and not feel ashamed.
All right for you to laugh and joke with Mildred. I seem to be the only one that cares. But
Oh, Ma, Dick only sneaked out to the fireworks at the beach. You wait and see.
the fireworks were over long ago. If he had, he'd be home.
He probably couldn't get a seat. The trolleys are so jammed, and he had to walk home.
I hadn't thought of that, but that must be it.
Oh, don't let him worry you, Ma. He just wants to show off he's heartbroken over that silly Muriel and get everyone fussing and wondering if he hasn't drowned himself or something.
You be quiet. I do believe you're that hard-hearted. You don't have a heart in you. One thing I know, you don't get that from me.
Let me see what you wrote, Mid. You're so sleepy you couldn't see it. I'm not sleepy.
Oh, goodness, I was forgetting you were still up. You run along to bed. It's hours past your bedtime.
But it's the 4th of July, ain't it, Pa?
Mm-hmm.
There. Now you see what you've done. You might know it can't be your excuses. You heard what I said, young man.
Can I stay up a little longer?
I said no. Stop arguing and obey me.
I should think I could stay up till Dick comes.
You heard your mother say no more arguing. And she says get. You better get.
Good night, Aunt Lily.
Good night, dear. Sleep well.
Good night, you. Good night, you. Good night, Pa.
Good night, son. Sleep tight. Go.
Good night, Ma.
Good night. Here, you look feverish. Now you're all right. Run along now. Don't forget to say your prayers.
Here's another thing, Ma. When I was up to the water closet last,
When you were where?
the bathroom,
That's better.
Uncle Sid was snoring like a foghorn. And he's right next to my room. How can I ever get to sleep while he's...
I guess you'd get to sleep all right if you were inside a foghorn. Run along now. What time is it now, Nat?
Now, Essie, I just told you a minute ago.
I don't see how you can take it so calm. There it is, midnight, you might say, and our Richard is still out and we have no idea where he could be.
There's someone. Bet it's him now, Ma.
You give him a good piece of your mind, Nat. That's the whole trouble. You're too easy with him.
No, that isn't Dick. It's Art.
We'll give a strong cheer for Eli's men. We're here to win again. Harvard's men will fight till the end, but Yale will win.
You're back, eh? We thought it was Richard.
Is he still out? Where'd he go to?
That's what we'd like to know. You didn't happen to run into him anywhere, did you?
No, I've been at the Rand since dinner. I suppose he sneaked off to the beach to watch the fireworks.
Well, that's what we've been telling your mother, but she insists on worrying her head off.
Well, if he had, why didn't he tell us? He knew we'd let him.
That's easy, Ma. Didn't you hear him this morning showing off, bawling out the 4th like an anarchist? Well, he wouldn't want to renege on that to you, but he'd want to see the old fireworks just the same. I know, he's at the foolish age.
Arthur, you make me feel as though I owe you an apology when you talk horse sense like that. Arthur's hit the nail right on the head, I think, Essie. That's where he is.
Well, I wish he were here.
He oughtn't to be allowed out this late at his age. I wasn't. 4th or no 4th, if I remember.
Don't strain your memory trying to recall the ancient days of your youth.
We had a corking dinner tonight at the Rands. We had sweetbreads on toast.
Just like the Rands to try to put on airs before you. I never could see anything just sweetbreads. They always tasted like soap to me. And no real nourishment in them. I wouldn't have the pesky things on my table.
Did you kiss Elsie goodnight?
Oh, stop trying to be so darn funny all the time. You give me a pain in the ear.
That's where she gives me a pain, the stuck-up thing. Thinks she's the whole cheese.
And that's where your everlasting wrangling gives me a pain. Give us a rest, you two.
I do wish that boy would get home.
Arthur, what's this I hear about you having such a good singing voice? Rand tells me he likes nothing better than to hear you sing. Says you do every night you're up there. Oh, why don't you ever give us folks at home here a treat? Why not sing us a song or two now? You can play for him, can't you, Mildred?
I can play as well as Elsie Rand, at least.
I've been singing a lot lately, Pa. I don't know if my voice is really
don't
up.
play modest. You know you're just dying to show off.
Well, let go of me, you. I don't want to sing right now, Pa. I will some other time.
I'd let him alone, Mildred.
Oh, sure. I'll do the best I can.
It won't keep Tommy awake, nothing could. And Sid, he could sleep through an earthquake. Speak of the devil, and there he comes, darn it. Well, he's had a good nap, and he's probably sobered up. Now, Lily, you sit down, read your book, and don't pay any attention to him.
Hello.
Hello, Sid. Had a nice nap?
Nat? Essie, Lily, well, I want to apologize for coming home the way I did. Well, there's no excuse for it, but I didn't mean anything.
Of course not, Sid. It's all forgotten.
Don't be a goose, Sid. We all know what those picnics are like. You just forget it.
Lily? All right. Lily, I'm sorry about the fireworks. Can you forgive me?
Shh, Arthur's going to sing. Sit down, Sid. Didn't he, Essie?
Yes. I wish he wouldn't sing such sad songs. Richard's always whistling that one.
Give us a cheery one next, Arthur. Just for variety's sake.
You're right, Lily. You're right not to forgive me. I'm no good and I never will be. You shouldn't even wipe your feet on me. I'm no good to myself or anybody else. If I had any guts, I'd kill myself and be done with it. But I haven't. I'm yellow, too. A yellow, drunken bum.
Oh, there, now, don't cry, Sid. I can't bear it. Of course I forgive you. Haven't I always forgiven you? I know you're not to blame, so don't, Sid.
Lily, can you really forgive me? I mean, I know I don't deserve it. Can you really?
I told you I did, Sid. And I do.
Can't get away to marry you today. My wife won't let me.
That was fine, Arthur and Mildred. Darn good.
You should hear Vesta Victoria sing that. Oh, she's terrific. I saw her at Hammerstein's Victoria Theater. Remember that trip I made to New York?
Yes. I remember, Sid. What time is it now, Nat? I'm getting worried something dreadful, Nat. You don't know what might have happened to Richard. You read in the newspapers every day about boys getting run over by automobiles.
Oh, don't say that,
Don't get to imagining things now.
Well, why couldn't it happen? With everyone warns one out tonight. And lots of them driving drunk. I just know something dreadful's happening. And you're sitting here listening to music and laughing. Why don't you do something? Why don't you?
You mustn't worry so, Essie. You'll make yourself sick. What's the trouble? Mom, don't cry. Dick'll turn up in a minute or two. Wait and see.
Well, sure he will. I was going to go out to look for him if he wasn't back by 12 sharp. But I'll go now if it'll let me put your mind at ease. I'll take the auto and I'll go out to the beach road. Arthur, you better come with me. I'll go
Sure
too.
thing, Pop. That must be him now.
Now, worrying us so.
Oh, God, what's happened to him? He's gone crazy.
Crazy nothing, he's only soused.
Yesterday, this day's madness did prepare. Tomorrow's silence, triumph or despair. Drink, Richard, how could you?
Steady, Nat, the boy don't know what he's doing.
And at 10 o'clock, ere Lord Loveborg will come with vine leaves in my hair. Ha, ha.
You're intoxicated. You bad, wicked boy, you.
Fancy that, Hedda?
He's been with one of those bad women.
Ma, I feel rotten.
Oh, Richard.
Oh, wait a minute, Essie. You let me take care of him. I know the game backwards. Come on, boy. Come on now. Hold it in now, boy.
Be back in the office putting in some good licks. I got a whole pile of things I got to get done today.
You don't mean to tell me you're going back without seeing.
Of course not. I wish you'd stop jumping to conclusions. What else did I come home for, I'd like to know?
What's Dick done? Why is everyone afraid to tell me?
Young man, I never spanked you before, but that don't mean I never will. Now you sit down and keep your mouth shut until you're spoken to. Something's going to happen.
Yes, Tommy, do be still and don't bother your pa. Be careful what you say, Nat. Little pitchers have big ears.
Why don't you kids skedaddle, all of you? Why are you always hanging around the house? Go out in the yard and play, or take a walk and get some fresh air. Arthur?
I think I'll go for a walk, too.
Yeah, oh, good idea. I'll go with you.
Yeah, I'd like you to stay. For a while, anyway, Sid.
Oh, well, all right.
Well, where is Richard?
He's still in bed. I made him stay in bed as a punishment. And I thought he ought to anyway, after being so sick. He says he feels all right, though.
Oh, of course he feels all right. When you're young, you can stand anything without it phasing you. I remember when I could come down the morning after, fresh as a daisy, and eat a breakfast of pork chops and fried onions and pancakes.
I suppose that was before eating lobster shells spoiled your iron constitution.
If I were you, I'd keep still. Richard must be feeling better. He ate all of the dinner I sent up, Nora says.
I thought you weren't going to give him dinner to punish him.
Well, in his weakened condition, I thought it better. Well, you needn't think that I haven't punished him. Oh, I gave him pieces of my mind. He won't forget in a hurry. And I kept reminding him that his real punishment was still to come. That you were coming home to dinner on purpose. Then he'd find out you could be terrible stern when he did such awful things. And that's just what it's your duty to do. Punish him, good and hard. But be careful how you go about it, Ned. Well, remember, he's a lot like you inside. Too sensitive for his own good. And I know he never would have done it if it hadn't been for that darn little dunce Muriel and her numbskull father. And all of us teasing him and hurting his feelings all day. And then you lost your temper with him and were so stern just before he went out. And
I can see this is going to work around to where it's all my fault.
I didn't say that, did I, Sid? But here's another thing. Now, you know as well as I do, Richard could never have done such a thing on his own. He wouldn't know how. There must have been someone who influenced him and led him.
Yes, I can believe that. Were you able to worm out of him who it was? By God, whoever it was, I'll make them regret it.
No, he wouldn't admit to anyone. But I did worm something out of him, and I can tell you it relieved my mind more than anything. You know how afraid I was he had been with one of those bad women. Well, it turns out there wasn't any Hedda. She was just out of those books he's been reading. So, somehow, I can't kind of feel it's as bad as I thought it was. Oh, but it's bad enough, goodness knows. The idea of a boy his age. Shall I go up and tell him to get dressed that you want to talk to him?
Yes! I can't stand around all day listening to you go on.
Remember.
Darn women, they always get you mixed up. Their minds just don't know what logic is. Sid. Sid.
Yeah, I'll take the same. What'd you say, Nat?
What I didn't say was, what'll you have? Now, do you want to be of some help or don't you? Then stay awake and try to use your brains. This is a darn sight more serious than Essie has any idea. She thinks there weren't any women mixed up in Richard's spree last night, but I happen to know there were.
Oh?
There's a note that was left by a woman with one of the boys downstairs at the office today. She didn't ask to see me, just said, give me this. He said he'd never seen her before. She looked like a tart, he said. Your son got the booze he drank last night at the Pleasant Beach House. The bartender there knew he was underage, but served him just the same. He thought it was a good joke to get him soused. If you have any guts, you'll run that bastard out of town. What do you think of that? It's a woman's handwriting, not signed, of course.
Well, she's one of the babies, all right, judging from her elegant language.
See if you recognize the handwriting.
Nat, I resent the implication I correspond with all the tramps around this town. No, I don't know who that one is. But I deduced the lady had a run-in with the barkeep and wants revenge.
And I deduced that before that, she must have picked up Richard, or how would she know who he was? And took him to this dive.
Well, maybe that Pleasant Beach House is nothing but an old bed house. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I've been told. Yeah. Gee, I hope you're wrong, Nat. That kind of baby is dangerous for a kid like Dick in more ways than one, and you know what I mean.
Yep, that's what has me worried. Oh, damn it. I should have had a straight talk with him about women and those things. Ought to have done it long ago.
Yes, you ought.
Well, I tried to a couple of times. I get so ashamed of myself, and I just can't get started right. You know, in spite of all those big words out of the books, he seems so innocent inside.
I know. I wouldn't like the job. So how are you planning to punish him for his sins?
Tell you the truth, Sid, I'm damned if I know. It all depends on what I feel he feels when I first size him up. But even then, it'll be like shooting in the dark.
If I didn't know you so well, I'd tell you, don't go too hard on him. If you remember, I was always getting punished, and see what a lot of good it did me.
Ah, there's a lot worse than you around, so don't get to bragging.
Oh, thanks.
Ah, that must be the bad man now, yes?
I'm sorry, Nat. He was sound asleep, and I didn't have the heart to wake him.
Double damned if you're not the...
Miller, don't go losing your temper with me. Goodness, you know as well as I do, he needs all the sleep he can get today after last night's ructions. Do you want him to get taken down sick? You can see him just as easily when you come home to supper, can't you? My goodness, you think you couldn't bear waiting to punish him.
Oh, I'll be eternally... Oh, it's no use talking to you. You really take the cake. But you know perfectly well I said I was not coming home to supper tonight. I have that date with Lawson, and it may mean a lot of new advertising. It's important.
Well, you can see him when you do come home.
Oh, all right. I'm going back to the office. Drag a man all the way back here on a busy day when there's so many things to do, and then you no consideration.
Well, I've never seen Nat so bad-tempered.
He's so tickled to get out of it for a while, he can't see straight.
I hope I know him better than you. And there was Richard, sleeping like a baby. So innocent looking. Do you think butter wouldn't melt in his mouth? Well, it just goes to show you, you can never tell by appearances. The idea.
Dick's all right, Essie. Stop worrying.
Oh, of course, you'd say that. You'll have him out with you, painting the town red next thing.
Hello, Uncle Sid.
What are you doing here, young man? I thought you were asleep. Well, it seems to me you woke up pretty quick, just after your pa left the house.
I wasn't asleep.
Do you mean to say that you were deliberately deceiving?
I wasn't deceiving. You didn't ask if I was asleep.
I'd imagine me standing there and feeling sorry for you like a fool. Well, you wait until your pa comes home. If you don't catch him...
I don't care.
You don't care. Richard, you sound as if you're not ashamed of what you did last night.
I'm not ashamed.
Richard.
I'm not ashamed because I don't care what I did or anything about anything. But I won't do it again.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that anyway.
It's not because I thought it was wicked, Mom, or any such old fogey moral notion. Because it wasn't any fun. It didn't make me funny and happy like it does Uncle Sid.
Oh, what's that? Who's funny?
Only made me sadder and sick, so I don't see any sense in it.
Well, now you're talking sense. That's a good boy.
But I'm not sorry I tried it once, Mom. Curing the soul by means of the senses, as Oscar Wilde says.
How's your headache? Do you want me to get you a bromo?
Oh, you don't understand anything.
Well, I understand this much. It's your liver, that's what it is. And you'll take a good dose of salts in the morning. No nonsense about it. Oh, good gracious, what time is it getting to be? I've got to be up street. Now, you stay here, Richard. Remember, you're to stay in the house all day today for a punishment.
Well, how's my fellow rum pot?
You got a head?
Don't go dragging that up again, Uncle Sid. I'll never be such a fool again, I tell you.
No, never again, eh? I think I've heard someone say that before.
I was desperate, Uncle. Even if she wasn't worth it. I was wounded to the heart.
I like to the quick myself better. It's a little more stylish. But Richard, I'll tell you this much. You're right about one thing. Love is hell on a poor sucker. Don't I know it?
Oh, hello. Are you allowed out?
Of course I'm allowed out.
How did Pa punish you?
He didn't. He went back to the office without seeing me.
Well, you'll catch it later, and you ought to. If ever you'd seen how awful you looked last night.
Forget it, can't you?
Well, are you ever going to do it again? That's what I want to know.
What's it to you?
Well, if you don't solemnly swear you won't, then I won't give you something I've got for you.
Stop kidding me. You haven't got anything.
I have too.
What?
Wouldn't you like to know? I'll give you 3 guesses.
Don't bother me. I'm in no mood to play riddles with kids.
Well, if you're going to get snippy. Anyway, you haven't promised yet.
Okay, I promise. What is it?
What would you like best in the world?
I don't know. What?
And you pretend to be in love? If I told Muriel...
Is it from her?
Well, I guess it is a shame to keep you guessing. Yes, it is from her. I was walking past her place just now when I saw her waving from the parlor window, and I went up, and she said, "Give this to Dick." And then she didn't have a chance to say anything else because her mother called her and she wasn't allowed to have company. So, I took it. Here it is. Gee, it must be wonderful to be in love like you are.
You know what she says, Min? She didn't mean a word in that first letter. Her old man made her write it. And she loves me and only me and always will, no matter how they punish her.
My, I didn't think she had that much spunk.
Huh? You don't know her. You think I could fall in love with a girl who's afraid to say her soul's her own? I should say not. And she's gonna try to sneak out me tonight. She thinks she can do it. Ha! I knew she couldn't hold out. That she'd ask again. Women never know when the curtain has fallen. They always want another act.
Is that so smart?
You know, I don't know whether I'll consent to keep this date or not.
Well, I know. You're not allowed out, silly, so you can't.
Can I, though? You just wait and see if I can. I'll see you tonight if it's the last thing I ever do. I don't care how they punish me afterwards.
Goodness, I never thought you had that much nerve.
You keep your face shut, Mid, until after I'm gone. Then he can tell Ma and Pa where I'm off to. Well, that is if they're worrying I'm off like last night.
All right. Only you've got to do something for me when I ask.
Yeah, of course I will. I say, now's the best chance for me to get away while everyone's out. Ma'll be coming home soon. She'll keep watching me like a cat. I'll beat it upstairs and get changed.
What will you do till nighttime? I mean, it's ages to wait.
You think I care how long I wait? I'd wait 1,000,000 years and never mind it for her. Trouble with you, Mid, you just don't understand what love means.
Make mine a double.
Gosh, that music from the hotel sounds wonderful. I'll be able to hear the town hall clock strike. It's so still tonight. What I'll catch when Pa gets hold of me. But it'll be worth it. If only she shows up. Am I sure she wrote 9? Yeah, it's 9 all right. Oh, that's silly. No. No, it isn't either. Not when you're really in love. Tony, I wish he'd show up. Okay, all right, think of something else. Something to make the time pass quicker. Last night, Pleasant Beach House. Belle. Now, forget her. You picked a fine time to think of her when Muriel's coming. But I didn't go upstairs with her. Even if she was pretty. She wasn't pretty. She was just a whore. She was everything dirty. Muriel's 1,000,000 times prettier anyway. Muriel and I will go upstairs when we're married. That'll be beautiful. But I don't think of that now. It isn't right. And I'd never. Well, now. But when we're married. That darn barkeep kicking me. You know, I bet if I hadn't been so drunk, I could have given him a good punch in the nose. You deserved a good kick in the pants, Richard. Making such a slob of yourself. You must have been a fine sight when you got home, having to be put to bed and getting sick. Think of something else, can't you? Recite something, see if you remember. Nay, let us walk from fire unto fire, from passionate pain to deadlier delight. I am too young to live without desire. Too young art thou to waste this summer night. Gee, that's a peach. I'll have to memorize the rest of that and recite it to Muriel the next time. Wish I could write poetry. Me and Muriel. Gosh, it's beautiful tonight. As if it were a special night for me and Muriel. God, I love tonight. I love the sand and the trees and the grass, the water, the sky and the moon. It's all in me. And I'm in all of it. God, it's so beautiful. That's 9 now. I don't see her. Oh, she must have got caught. Gee, I hate to go home and catch her without having seen her. Well, whoever heard of women being on time? Why, I ought to know enough about life by now to know that... Oh, here she comes now. Gosh. And lo, my love, mine own soul's heart. Mustn't let her know I'm so tickled. If women are too sure of you, they treat you like slaves. Let her suffer for a change.
Oh, Dick!
Oh, hello. 9 already?
I thought you'd be waiting right here at the end of the path. Well, I'll bet you'd forgotten I was even coming.
No, I hadn't forgotten. I just got to thinking about life.
Well, you might think of me for a change. Dick, you come here to me. I'm afraid to go out there where anyone might see
Here
me.
you go again, always afraid of life.
Dick Miller, I just think you've got an awful nerve to say that after all the risks I've run making this date and then sneaking out. Well, you didn't take the trouble to sneak any letter to me, I noticed.
No, because after your first letter, I thought everything was dead and past between us.
And I'll bet you didn't care one little bit. Oh, I was a fool ever to come here. Well, I've got a good notion to go right home and never speak to you again.
No, wait, Muriel, don't go, please don't go. I didn't mean anything like that, honest, I didn't. Gosh, if you knew how brokenhearted I was by your first letter, how darn happy your second letter made me.
I don't believe you. You've got to swear to me.
I swear.
Well then, all right. I'll believe you.
Gosh, you're pretty tonight, Muriel. It seems so long since we've been together. Sure is wonderful to be with you again.
I'm glad it makes you happy. I'm happy too.
Can I? Won't you let me kiss you now? Please?
No, you mustn't. Don't.
Why can't I? Aren't you ever gonna let me?
I will, sometime.
When?
Well, soon. Maybe.
Tonight?
I'll see.
Promise?
I promise. Maybe.
Okay, remember, you promised. Let's not stand here. Let's sit on the bench.
Well, all right. Only I can't stay. Only a few minutes.
You can stay a little while longer, can't you, please?
A little while. But I've got to be home in bed again, pretending to be asleep by 10 o'clock.
But you have lots of time to do that.
Dick, you have no idea what I went through to get here tonight. My, but it was exciting. I had to get all undressed and into bed, and then Ma came up and I pretended to be asleep. She went back down and I got up and dressed in such a hurry. I must look a sight, don't I?
Do not. You look wonderful.
Then I sneaked down the back stairs. Well, Dick, you don't realize how I've been punished for your sake.
Well, you don't realize what I've been through for you. What I'm in for. Sneaking out tonight, and staying away all day, for what I did last night, what your letter made me do.
What did my letter make you do?
Oh, it's a long story. And let the dead past bury its dead. Only it isn't past, I can tell you. Well, I'll catch when Pa gets hold of me.
Well, tell me, Dick. Begin at the beginning and tell me.
Well, after your old man left our... After your father left our place, well, I caught holy hell from Pa.
Dick, you mustn't swear.
Hell's the only word to describe it. And on top of that, to torture me more, he gave me your letter.
I'm so awful sorry, Dick. Honest, I am.
I thought your love for me was dead. I wanted to die. I sat and brooded about death. Finally, I decided I'd kill myself.
Dick, you did it.
I did too. If there'd been one of those headed gambler pistols around, you would have seen if I wouldn't have done it beautifully. And I thought, when I'm dead, she'll be sorry she ruined my life.
If you ever had, I'd have died too. Honest, I would.
Suicide's the act of a coward. And anyway, I thought to myself, she isn't worth it.
That's a nice thing to say.
Well, you wouldn't have been worth it if you meant what you wrote in that letter, would you?
But I told
So
you
I said to myself, I'm through with women. They're all alike.
But I'm not.
And I said, what difference does it make what I do now? Might as well forget her and lead the pace that kills and drown my sorrows. You know, I had $11 saved up to buy you something real nice for your birthday, but I thought, well, she's dead to me now, so why shouldn't I just throw it away? Listen, I still have $5 left. I can buy you something.
What do I care about your old presents? You tell me what you did.
Well, after it was dark, I sneaked away to this low dive I know about.
Dick Miller, I don't believe you ever.
You asked them at the Pleasant Beach House if I didn't. They won't forget me in a hurry.
Why, that's a terrible place. Pa says it ought to be closed by the police.
Well, I said it was a low dive, didn't I? It's a secret house of shame. And they let me in a secret room behind the bar room, and there was nobody there but a Princeton senior I know. He belongs to Tiger Inn, and he's a fullback on the football team. And he had 2 chorus girls from New York with him. They were all drinking champagne.
Dick Miller, I hope you didn't notice those.
I noticed one of the girls, the one that wasn't with him. She was looking at me. She had strange looking eyes. And then she asked if I wouldn't come sit and drink champagne with her.
She must have been a nice thing.
Her name was Belle. She had fiery red hair, the kind that burns and stings you.
I'll bet it was dyed.
She just kept smoking one cigarette after another. But that's nothing for a chorus.
She was low and bad, that's what she was. Or she couldn't be a chorus girl. And her smoking cigarettes proves it. Well, then what happened?
Well, we just kept drinking champagne, and then I had a fight with the barkeep, and I knocked him down because he insulted her.
Well, I don't see how he could insult that kind. And why did you fight for her? Why didn't the Princeton fullback?
He was too drunk by then.
And were you drunk?
Only a little. I was worse later. You should have seen me. I was on the verge of delirium tremens.
Well, I'm glad I didn't see you. I hate people who get drunk. I'd have hated you. Well, what happened with that Belle before you went home?
Well, we just kept drinking champagne, and then she came and sat on my lap and kissed me.
Oh!
Oh, but it was only in fun.
Did you kiss her?
No, I didn't.
You did too. Oh, you're lying and you know it. And here I was, right at that time, lying in bed, not able to sleep, wondering how I was ever going to see you again, and crying my eyes out. Well, I hate you. Well, I wish you were dead. I never want to lay eyes on you again, and this time I mean it.
No, wait, Muriel, listen to me, listen.
I don't want to listen. Let me go. If you don't, I'll bite your hand.
I'm not gonna let go. You have to let me explain, Muriel. I never. Ow! Fine, go then. If you haven't got the decency to let me explain, well, I hate you too. I'll go see Belle.
Well, go and see her if that's the kind of girl you like. What do I care? You can't explain. What can you explain? You owned up, you kissed her.
I did not. I said she kissed me.
And I suppose you sat and let yourself be kissed? Tell that to the Marines.
All right. If you're gonna call me a liar on everything I say, and besides, so what if I kissed her once or twice? I only did it to get back at you.
Dick?
You're a fine one to blame me when it was all your fault. Hadn't I thought you out of my life forever? Hadn't you written that in the letter? Answer that.
But I told you a million times. Pa stood right over me and told me each word to write. Well, I had to pretend so I'd get a chance to see you. Well, don't you see, silly? Still, I can see how you felt the way you did. Maybe I am to blame for that. So I'll forgive and forget, Dick, if you swear to me that you never even thought of loving that...
I swear, Muriel, I couldn't. I love you.
Well then, I still love you.
And come sit down here.
All right, only I'll have to go soon, Dick. Oh, I'm sorry I hurt your hand.
Oh, that's all right. Felt wonderful just to have you bite.
There, that'll cure it.
You, shouldn't waste that on my hand. You said you'd let me.
Will it wash off her kisses? Make you forget you ever, for always?
Yes, I would never remember another... Yes.
beautiful, isn't it?
Not as beautiful as you. Won't it be wonderful when we're married?
Oh, yes. But it's so long to wait.
Well, perhaps I needn't go to Yale. Perhaps Pa can give me a job, and then soon I'd be making
You
a...
ought to do what your pa thinks best. And I'd like you to be at Yale. Oh, poor you. Do you think he'll punish you awful?
I don't know. I don't care. Nothing would have stopped me from seeing you tonight. Not if I had to crawl over red-hot coals. You are my love, mine own soul's heart, more dear to me than mine own soul, more beautiful than God.
Oh, what's wrong to say that?
Gosh, I love you. I love you, darling.
I love you too, sweetheart. Where are we going our honeymoon, Dick? Niagara Falls?
That dump where all the silly fools go? I should say not. No, we'll go to some far-off, wonderful place. Somewhere out on the long trail, the trail that is always new on the road to Mandalay. We'll watch the dawn come up like thunder at its shine.
Oh, well, that'll be wonderful, won't it?
Oh, this sure is a comical cuss. Even though his ideas are so crazy, they ought to allow them to be printed.
I can see where you're being corrupted by those books, too. Pretending to read them out of duty to Richard, when your nose has been glued to the page.
No. But I have to be honest. There's something to them. Why, that Ruby out of Omar Khayyam now. I read that again, and I liked it even better than I had before.
I'm glad Mildred told me where Richard's gone. I'd have worried my heart out if she hadn't. But now it's all right.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. Just because we know he's all right tonight doesn't wipe out last night. He's still got to be punished for that.
Well, if you ask me, the way that I punished him all day today, and the way that I know he's punished himself, he's had about all he deserves. I told you how sorry he was, and that he said he'd never touch liquor again. He hated the taste of it. Said it didn't make him happy like Sid, only sad and sick, and so he didn't see anything in it for him.
Well, if he's got that view of it driven into his skull, I'm not sure I'm happy that it all happened. I mean, that'll serve him more than 1,000 lectures. Good horse sense about himself. Still, I can't let him do such things and go scot-free. No, he has to be punished, if only to make the lesson stick in his mind. And I'm going to tell him he can't go down to Yale because he's so undependable.
Can't go to Yale? I guess he can go to Yale. If our other children can have the benefit of a college education, you're not going to pick on Richard.
Hush up, for God's sake, if you let me finish. I'll tell him that now. Bluff. Later on, I'll change my mind if he behaves himself.
Well, that's all. But it's your duty to see that he gets every benefit. He's got an exceptional brain, that boy has. He's proved it by the way he likes to read those deep plays and poetry.
But I thought you...
You thought I what?
Never mind.
You mark my words. One day he's going to be a great lawyer, or a great doctor, or a great writer.
Well, you agree he's going to be great anyway.
Yes, I most certainly have a lot of faith in Richard.
Well, so have I, as far as that goes.
And as for his being in love with Muriel, well, I don't see but what might work out real well. Richard could do worse.
I thought you had no use for Muriel. Thought she was stupid.
Well, so I did. But if she's good for Richard and he wants her, Well, Ma used to say you weren't over bright.
Oh?
But she changed her mind when she saw that I didn't care whether you were or not.
Well, I was bright enough to take care
And
of...
Muriel's real cute looking, I have to admit that. She takes after her mother. Oh, Alice Briggs was the prettiest girl before she was married.
Yes, and Muriel will get as big as a house after she's married, the same way her mother did. That's the trouble. A man never knows what he's letting himself in for.
I'm not too fat, and don't you say it.
Who's talking about you? Why, nobody would call you fat, Essie. You're only plump, like a good figure should be.
Crazy.
Well, you don't mean to tell me you're taking this Muriel crush of Richard's seriously, do you? Oh, I know it's a good thing to encourage now, but, well, he'll forget all about her before he's away 6 months, and she'll have forgotten him.
Don't be so cynical. Well, anyway, he'll always have it to remember, no matter what happens after. And that's something.
You bet that's something. You know, you surprise me sometimes with your deep wisdom.
You don't give me credit for any common sense, that's why.
Now, where'd you say Sid and Lily were off to?
Oh, to the beach, to listen to the band. Poor Lily. Sid'll never change. She'll never marry him. But she seems to get some queer satisfaction out of fussing over him.
Arthur's up with Elsie Rand, I suppose?
Of course.
Where's Mildred?
Out walking with her latest. I forget who it is. I can't keep track.
Well, from all reports, then, we seem to be completely surrounded by love.
Well, we've had our share, haven't we? We can't begrudge it our children. Oh, but I've done all this talking about Muriel and Richard, and I clean forgot how wild Macombo was against it. Well, he'll come round, I suppose.
He already has. I ran into him up street this afternoon, and he was meek as pie. He backed water and said he agreed I was right, that Richard had just copied things out of books, and children will be children, and so on. So, well, I came off my high horse, but not too far, mind you. And I suppose none of that will trouble anyone anymore. And I told you about getting that business from Lawson. It's been a good day, Essie. A darn good day.
Here's Richard.
Ah.
Hello.
Hello, Richard.
Hello, son.
Oh, Nat. Goodness, he acts queer. You don't...
No, it's love, not liquor this time.
Richard, what on earth's the matter with you? How many times have I told you hang up your hat in the hall when you come in? Here, I'll do it.
Essie, I think you better leave Richard and me alone for a while, Essie.
Oh, all right. I'll go outside on the piazza. You call me if you need me. Nat, remember what I told you.
Richard? Sit down, Richard. Well, how are the vine leaves in your hair tonight?
I don't know.
Turned out to be poison ivy, didn't they? Oh, you needn't look so alarmed. I'm not going to read you a temperance lecture. That would bore me more than it would you. And in spite of your foolishness last night, I'm still giving you credit for having brains. So I suppose anything I might say to you, you've already said to yourself.
I know I was a darn fool, Pa.
You sure were. And not just a fool, but a downright stupid, disgusting fool. It was bad enough for you to let Arthur and me see you that way, but to appear before your mother and Mildred. And I wondered if Muriel would think you were so fine if she ever saw you as you looked and acted then. She'd give you your walking papers for keeps, I bet. And couldn't blame her. No decent girl wants to give her love to a stupid drunk.
I know, Pa.
Well, that settles the booze end. But there's something else that's far more serious. Now, what about that
tart you went to bed with at the Pleasant Beach house last night.
You know? Pa, I didn't. If they told you about her down there, they must have told you I didn't, Pa. I gave her the $5 just so she'd let me out of it. She made everything seem dirty, and I didn't want to do a thing like that to Muriel, no matter how bad I thought she treated me. Honest, Pa, even after I felt drunk, I didn't.
How did you happen to meet this lady anyway?
I can't tell you that. I'd have to snitch on somebody, and you wouldn't want me to do that.
No, I suppose I wouldn't. Well, I believe you, and I guess that settles that. Listen here, Richard. It's about time you and I had a serious talk about certain matters pertaining to, and now that the subject has come up of its own accord, it's a good time. I mean, there's no use procrastinating any further. So, here goes. Richard, you have now come to an age when, well, you're a fully developed man in a way, and it's only natural for you to have certain desires of the flesh, to put it that way, pertaining to the opposite sex. Certain natural temptations and feelings that want to be gratified, and you'll want to gratify them. There's a certain class of women, always has been, always will be, as long as human nature is what it is. It's wrong, maybe, but what can you do about it? I mean, girls like the one... Girls there's something doing with. And lots of them are pretty, so it's only human nature if you... But that doesn't mean you ever get mixed up with them seriously. I mean, don't think I'm encouraging you. If you can stay away from them, so much the better. But if, well, I mean, why... Here's what I'm driving at, Richard. They're apt to be whited sepulchres. I mean, your whole life could be ruined if you... So darn it, you have to know how to... I mean, there are ways and means and... Oh, hell! You boys probably talk about this among yourselves. You know more about it than I do. I'll admit, I'm no authority. I never had anything to do with such women. And it'd be a hell of a lot better for you if you never do.
But I'm never going to, Pa. I don't see how you think I could now, when you know I love Muriel and we're gonna get married. Pa, I would die.
That's a talk, by God. I'm proud of you when you talk that way. Well, that's all that. There's nothing more to say, then we'll just forget about it.
Pa?
Huh?
How you gonna punish me?
Oh, I was sort of forgetting that, wasn't I? Well, I thought of telling you you couldn't go to Yale.
Don't I have to go? Hey, that's great, Pa! Muriel thought you wanted me to go. I was telling her I'd rather stay here and get a job on the paper. That way we could get married sooner. Gee, Pa, you picked a lemon. Well, that isn't any punishment, Pa. You have to do something besides that.
All right, then. You'll go to Yale, and you'll stay there until you graduate. And that's that answer to that. Muriel's got good sense, and you haven't. Well, we're finished. You go call your mother.
Ma?
It's a beautiful night. The moon is so low, it's almost setting.
Yes, I don't believe I can hardly remember a night as beautiful as this, with such a wonderful moon. Can you, Richard?
No. Pa, it was wonderful down at the beach tonight.
No, I can only remember a few nights as beautiful as this. They were long ago when your mother and I were young, planning to get married.
Yes. They must have been wonderful nights, too. Kind of forget the moon was the same way and everything back then.
You're all night, Richard.
You're a good boy, Richard.
You better get to bed early tonight, son, hadn't you?
Oh, I couldn't sleep, Pop. Can I go out on the porch and just sit for a while until the moon sets?
All right. But then you better say goodnight now. I don't know about your mother, but I'm going straight to bed. I'm dead tired.
So am I.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, dear. Now don't stay up till all hours, do you hear?
Good night, Pop.
Good night, son. He hasn't done that for years. I don't believe in sons kissing fathers after a certain age. It always seems silly and mushy to me, but, well, that meant something. And I don't believe we'll ever have to worry about his being safe from himself again. Now, I think no matter what life brings him, he can take care of it now.
Yes, Nat. Well, shall we turn out the lights? All ready?
Let her go, Gallagher. There he is, like a statue of young love's dream. What's it that Rubaiyat says? Yet, that spring should vanish with the rose, that youth's sweet, scented manuscript should close. Well, spring isn't everything, Essie. There's a lot to be said for autumn. Why, autumn has beauty too, and winter, if you're together.
Yes, Nat.
Thank you.